The next thing I go to is to tie in the hackle. This is a bit of saddle hackle, but that's just as good. Now, what you want is the shiny side away from the post. We're going to be tying that up that way. What we want is the shiny side away from the post. So if anything, the fibers sort of tend to go away around the post, because when we bend it down and turn it, I want the fibers to go up that way, not down that way. Okay? Now what I'm doing is winding this up the post. Whoops. Surprised I haven't done that before, but start again here. So I've got about 1/8 of an inch. This is wound up about 1/8 of an inch. And I'm winding down again. Keep stiffening up that post to make it easy to turn. There we go. Is that coming out on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Good. Okay, now go back to where we finished tying off the dubbing, and I would say for a fly this size, probably 2 strands of peacock herl. This is one of the things with a Klinkhammer, always tied with peacock herl up here. You can vary almost anything, but it's always tied with peacock herl. It seems to be a key to catching fish.
I noticed in the book it says they like the bronze.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that too. I mean, to me, it all turns black anyway in the water. I mean, you look at peacock herl in the water; it's not nice and green like this. It's black. So, you know,
It loses its color in the
it turns
water.
black. Yeah, when you get it water. If you take a bit of peacock herl and make it wet, put it in the water here, you'll see it'll turn black.
Yeah.
So now whether the fish sees some subtle colouring in there, I don't know, but I've never bothered with bronze peacock herl. I just use the regular stuff. Okay, so we've got a couple of strands turned in, and I'll wind it forward until the threads hang in there. Okay, just in front of the post. Now, go in front of the post, find your silk all the way to the eye, and back. Okay, and tie it off. I think I'll take both of them off. Okay, now So now, because of where I went over the post, the hackle is right up at the top of the part that we reinforce with thread. So what I'm going to do is wind down from there towards the hook. Okay. And I'm going to put in as many turns as I can.
And the size of hackle, is that about this? It's bigger than the gap of the hook?
Yeah, you can use pretty big stuff. In fact, the guy that invented it, I think he says he uses all his scrap stuff, but I generally use decent hackle. But you notice how much I'm putting on here? And the other thing you'll notice is that whereas the parachute hackle is pretty well in one layer, you've just got a couple of turns. With this one, I've wound it down over perhaps 1/8 of an inch. This ensures that it'll float and it'll keep floating. And you know, even as it begins to sink, you know, after it's starting to get a bit of wet, it'll still, these top hackles, it'll
Still
float
catching.
on. Yeah, yeah. Okay, now underneath there, couple of turns, and we're okay. We can now turn this off, cut this off. Don't cut the thread. Nobody's ever done that, have they? Okay, now there are lots of different ways to tie this off. Some people just tie it off conventionally. I prefer to tie it off around the bottom of the post. So I'm going to do it with my I don't know whether you're going to be able to follow this, Jimmy, but what I do is generally turn it towards me like this, like this. Can you still see it? Okay. I use these Mattarelli type tires. Okay, now what I do is just work it underneath these fibers. Just follow the hook around.
So you're tying underneath the hackle?
Underneath the hackle.
Okay.
There we go. 3 turns. That's it. Now, you can put a little drop of head cement on there, or you can do another one on top of it. I generally do one on top of it. So I just go round